Today we'll be making another informational video on testing the gas gauge on a 1966 full-size car. This dash has already been removed, so this will be a bench test as opposed to testing it while it's in the car. As you can see right now, it's stuck on half full, and we'll go from here. Now, there's three connectors on the back of the gas gauge. This one is your ohms, this is your positive, and this is your ground or negative. Now, in order to test this on the bench, you will need a 90 or 100 ohm resistor. I picked these up at Radio Shack. These are 100 ohms, half watt. They work just fine. They're about 5 to a pack, very inexpensive, about $1.49 for 5. I also have jumper cables, one hooked up to the negative, one hooked up to the positive. You can do it this way to power the gauge, or unless you have a transformer to convert to 12 volts, that'll be just fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is wrap this, which is a negative cable, around the ground, which is the bottom connector. Now, this was a resistor, 100 ohm resistor. One end goes to where the ohms hook up, right here. The other end goes to the ground. And we're just going to crimp them a little bit so it's tight around the connector. You want to make sure you have a good connection. Okay, at this point we take the other end of the positive cable and we're going to connect it to the positive of the gas gauge right here, and we're going to see what happens to the gauge. Alright, so basically the same as applying 90 ohms or a full tank, but this is going past it because of the 100 ohm, and it will be a little different in the car. It should stop at full or a little above. Alright, we know it works in that direction. Now we want to test it in the opposite direction. So what we do, place it back down, and now what we're going to do, we're going to take an alligator cable and we're going to hook one end to the negative on the bottom and the other end to where the ohms connection is, and let's see what happens to the gauge. Basically we're simulating what the sender does in the gas tank, all the way to empty. So in essence what we know now is that this gas gauge works fine, and the other problem could be the wiring, the circuit board itself, or the sending unit, and we're going to test the sending unit next.